Okay, here's another League of Legends post-game commentary coming your way, this time with Rek'Sai in the jungle. It's been a long time since I last played her, and she's been long overdue. She's received some changes since then, like I think her knock-up on the W is harder to land. And I think that's actually it for her changes. But here you can see the matchups: Ahri versus Morg mid, Vayne versus Trist, Lulu versus Nidalee, Shen versus York, and I'm Rek'Sai versus, Vi. So you'll see a little bit of banter going on in the team. I don't really get the point of questions like those, but it's not actually the first time I think I've been asked something along those lines and given that answer. It's just I don't know if I've actually done this before on the channel. So right there is the mouse over for Rek'Sai's various stuff. Your passive is Fury of the Rek'Sai. It's saying that Rek'Sai is resourceless. As you attack stuff, you generate Fury. The Fury in turn is consumed by the W. It's used to enhance the E. And Rek'Sai is one of the types of characters that kind of has two forms, the burrowed and the unburrowed. And I'll go over everything right here. Your Q is, I don't remember what it's called, but in your unburrowed form, you will twirl around whenever you auto-attack, dealing AoE damage to nearby enemies for the next 3 autos. While burrowed, it becomes the move Prey Seeker, which I abuse heavily this game. Prey Seeker is a decent range linear skill shot. It scales off AP and I believe it does magic damage. So if you're wondering by what I mean by abusing it, once you get to, I think it's level 9 for max rank, it actually does about 150 damage a shot. All in all, that's not really that impressive, but the thing is, it's on a 4 or so second cooldown. Once you get the certain amount of CDR that you'll see me build. What's so important about this is you can do 150 damage from range every 4 seconds, and it's free. It adds up if you can land those skill shots, and you can, well, you'll see what I do to Nidalee later. So don't underestimate that move. Your W is your burrow and unburrow. When you burrow, you will turn your Fury into health, as you see me doing here. You can unburrow to knock up enemies into the air. It does some damage. I don't remember if it scales off AD, AP, or what. Right here, I'm just trying to get a feel for if the Vi is in the river or not. If it is, I can't really fight in my current status, but she's not, so I'm good to go. While you are burrowed, you have reduced vision, but you have the tremor sense. That's that large circle around Rek'Sai. You will see little wave puddles, I don't know what the actual term for those are, but they notify you that something is moving there. So we could see the scuttle crab with that. If Vi were moving around, we could see her. And unfortunately, as it sounds, it's based off of sound. So if the enemy stands still, you actually don't know where they are, and you have to get vision of them a different way. Be it revealing yourself by unburrowing, or by using a ward like you saw me use on the blue buff right there. So your next move is your E. This is a pretty important move. While unburrowed, it's your bite. You just bite the enemy and deal some damage. In the event that you have full Fury, it does double damage. The amount of damage it actually does scales with your Fury. Since you have 100 Fury, it's just a flat percentage. So 50 Fury means a 50% bonus. The thing is, should you get 100, the damage not only doubles, but it becomes true damage. So there's no way to actually mitigate it. There are some advantages and disadvantages to this. The nice thing about it being true damage is just that it pierces armor, but the problem is you have to get 100 Fury, which isn't that easy to do in late game team fights, since you will either be diving the enemy backline or peeling for your carries. While burrowed, mode, your E becomes Construct Tunnel. I don't know the formal name for it, but that's basically what you do. You put a tunnel up, and you can then bypass walls. The tunnels themselves are pretty important because your ult is Void Rush, where you just charge to a tunnel from anywhere on the map. Sadly, there's no gank potential on York here. I was kind of hoping, but Shen's just too low. Shen will win that in the long term just because he uses energy as a resource while York is gated by mana. Anyway, as for the Void Rush, it's a global. You rush over to one of your tunnels. It's up to you to choose which one, so it's important to have your tunnel network kind of diversified.
Your enemy's hunting dragons!
Right there, Vi rushed the dragon, which we can kind of punish by just farming up. It takes her time to do that, and as a result I should have more gold and EXP than her, and I just have to convert that into something early. And for the Void Rush, it has the passive attack speed boost, which helps with your clear pretty significantly. I go for a Tiamat on Rek'Sai ultimately to become a Hydra, and that attack speed does mean more AoE, and it's not just the Q that helps me clear. All in all, it becomes pretty quick. Now, as the title revealed, I do go for the Devourer this game. I'm not entirely sure how well it is for Rek'Sai. Unfortunately, I never actually paid attention to see if you can use the Devourer to do a phantom AoE hit. I doubt it, but it would definitely help with your clear somewhat. Not that Rek'Sai really needs it once you finally get to the Hydra, it's just even faster. So right here I go for the Scuttle Crab because it's pretty much free gold. By getting this we can see if Vi is going to make any aggressive moves. And I probably should explain this now while I have a little bit of opportunity. In terms of gank opportunity this game, the bottom lane is pretty much where I'm going to find it. For the top lane, York is tanky. He's not really worth it in my opinion. Right there you can see me construct the first of my tunnels. And Shen himself just has low pressure, so York, it's just too difficult. It's possible, yes, but just difficult. As for the mid lane, we can only get something there if Morg wastes her black shield. She does do that eventually, but normally against a good Morg player, you're going to have a hell of a time trying to gank there. As for the bot lane, we have the Lulu to help us kite should we happen to knock someone up. It's just knock up through Unburrow into Glitterlance, and from there it's just beat them down. Let's see, our AD carry is Vayne if I remember, so we kind of can condemn someone into a wall. It's just, once again, if the person is decent, they won't fall for that. As for Shen's inventory, the reason why I pointed this out, the Giant Belt, is if he had gotten the Bammy Cinder, that would help him with York's ghouls somewhat. Like, they lose 1/5 of their health every second. They have a 5-second lifespan. Simple math. By having that Cinder, you might be able to knock their lifespan down to 4, which in turn limits York's harass or his wave clear, or even both. As for Rek'Sai, you can gank as soon as level 3, it's just the team comp here has made that not very feasible. As for my plan right now, I just need to generate gold, rush to the Devourer, and then I can try to gank someone when they come out of position. The good news about the bot lane is Nidalee herself doesn't actually offer any CC to help heal. She has her heal, she contributes damage, but that's kind of it. The other kicker is, it's a Nidalee support. Like you probably have experienced firsthand if you've been playing this game long enough, they just build AP. They don't even get a Sightstone. And it's going to hurt them in the late game team fights. Sorry folks, traps alone do not cut it. Right there you can see Vi, which is why I dropped that ward right there. So we can see Vi used her Q to get over the wall, and as a result my team is safe.
That's how you spill blood!
Sadly, Ari is going to die to Ignite, or no, the Vi ult. So the good news is she does get Vi's ult, so that's a 2-minute cooldown. Now, if I were Vi, I actually probably would have went for me instead, because I was healthier, I had a fresh red buff, and Ari had burned her Spirit Rush, so she wasn't going just straight back. She'd have to run into the jungle, which in turn would stall her even further. But if nothing else, Ari got the first blood, which means she gets the bonus gold, I get the bonus gold through the assist. Meanwhile, I don't know if Morg even got an assist off of that. Due to the Ignite, she probably did. But that's still 150 to Ari's 400 or so. And the other important thing is I now have the Devourer. And of course, since Rek'Sai is resourceless, I don't need the blue buff. It's just a stack to me. Unfortunately, right here, Ari went AFK, so I'm not actually going to be able to do anything with this blue buff. Had I known she left, I probably would have just taken it for the stack, but I leave it up because I'm a good guy like that. So I'm not entirely sure why Shen pinged that, but we go in on York. I ended up getting the kill, and I need to burrow to generate the health. I can pop a tunnel to create more distance between myself and York. Shen plays it safe by taunting him, but you can see he had no way to actually get me. Meanwhile, we can see Vi is right there. Right here I'm trying to use the Tremor Sense to find her. She can go ahead and take the blue buff because Ari... Okay, Ari's back now. But all in all, trading a blue buff for the top laner's life is a really good deal. And you can see me starting to abuse the Prey Seeker here. It's not something that can be ignored long term. Vi herself is going to be pretty tanky, so it's going to take me something like 15 shots, I think, to kill her from full health if she actually didn't regen anything in the meantime. And right here you can see Morg is horribly opposition. Condemned into the wall. She may have had her... Oh, there's the Black Shield. I was about to say, if that weren't on cooldown, there's enough magic damage between the Lulu and the Ari to pop that rather quickly. As for Vi, right here, she burned her ult, so she has to die. And the funny part is, remember how Vi got the blue buff? Guess who has it now? So Nidalee managed to deny me 2 stacks there, but it's not a big deal. The enemy team is going to get the second dragon just because we're not in good enough shape to really fight. Unfortunately, Trist is a little dangerous inside the dragon pit. If we had to try to tank the dragon while fighting her, we'd probably lose people. I would say Trist hits her power spikes before Vayne, and it's just that explosive shot can be so freaking annoying. Case in point, see Vayne? Right there I'm firing the Prey Seeker to see if Vi is trying to sneak that. Worst come to worst, if she's walking by, it's still gonna aggro it. So we got Nidalee, sadly no assist for Lulu, but the important thing is that's a kill on Vayne, which pushes her even closer to her late game terror state.
Cut your hands bloody.
Morg goes down 1v1. That's a really bad sign. One thing of note that I probably should point out is if you notice when I pull up the menu or click on Ari, she's building a Morellonomicon. The importance for this is it's going to give her mana regen, it's going to give her AP, it's going to give her CDR, but it's going to give her Grievous Wound. For those that aren't familiar with Morgana, the 1 or 2 of you that aren't, her passive gives her Spell Vamp, so she heals through the use of her passive. As a result, that Grievous Wounds will actually limit some of her healing and make her easier to kill as a result. So the dragon would be kind of nice, it's just we're not really in good enough shape to ever get it. It's definitely dangerous to do around Vi because she can always ult me inside of the pit, and I don't think I can smite while she has me ulted, which in turn makes it a pretty easy steal. Speaking of Vi, we found her. I hit her with the Prey Seeker just to tell her that I see her. Get a little bit of chip damage, but it's not going to matter too much. Now, for some reason, Shen opted to fight this. To be completely honest, I don't know why Shen thought at half health he could survive that, but that was suicide. Anyway, I now have a tunnel connecting me to the top lane, so I can always ult in the event in the future. As for right now, I can continue making progress towards my Tiamat and building stacks. One thing that I can mention real quick is, if you're wondering, the AD ratio on Rek'Sai's Q is 0.2, which is why I don't think building AD on Rek'Sai gets you anywhere at all. Her AD ratio has just been nerfed. I think it started at something like 0.4, then down to 0.3. Now we're at 0.2. There's really no reason to build just straight up AD on her. The reason why I want the Hydra is just for the AoE. It gives me a little bit of additional burst too in case of a fight, because the active effect. And you may notice there is a pink ward there, it's just I want the Scuttle Crab before I go ahead and take that.
Feed in the fishes.
So, one thing that I can point out, you can't see it yet, but pretty much all of Vayne's deaths are solely due to the Vi ult. When Vi does not have ult, they don't get Vayne. And there's even going to be a couple instances later on where she does have ult, but due to my intervention, she still doesn't get it. Now, I was thinking about trying to go for the steal here. I'd have to tunnel in, but it's just not worth it. But this is a pretty good play by Ahri if you watch. So right there, Nidalee down, Vi down. Morg down.
You have been slain.
And the quad.
4 victims.
Sadly, I only got 2 assists. I didn't get the Trist or the Morg. I couldn't fire Prey Seeker back at them to do a little bit of damage. But that just catapulted Ahri so far ahead. There's pretty much no hope for Morgana in this lane anymore. Right there you can see her build. And sadly Shen doesn't have boots right now, which is why he dies there. Had he had boots, he probably could have actually ran. I don't know if he's actually using his W either, or maxing that second. But just due to the way the harass works in the Yorick lane, I definitely think Feint is worth maxing second. Meanwhile, after Ahri got her quad, that got us the bottom tower. Sadly, Vayne couldn't get anything off of those to speed up her further, but she'll still get stuff, don't worry. Now, one thing I can explain about this game is, while the enemy has dragon control, the thing is, they don't have nearly as much late game power as us. It is true they have Trist, who is kind of scary, but the thing is, we have the Lulu to protect the Vayne, they have a Nidalee, la-di-da. They have a Yorick to potentially bring someone back from the dead if he arrives at the fight in time, and that if is important for reasons you'll find out later on. We have the Shen who has the global save, so he can actually arrive before Yorick and have an impact more immediately. And as for Vi and I, both of us bring disruption. Thing is, mine's on a shorter cooldown. It's not necessarily guaranteed, but I have flash to just reposition. And the other thing is, I have more poke than she does. That's one thing you also have to look at for our team comp. Shen has the Vorpal Blades to do a little bit of grass. We have Ari's, I forgot what her Q is called. The ball move. That's a form of poke. My Prey Seeker, the Lulu Glitter Lances. Compared to them, they have the Dark Binding, the Support Nidalee Javelins, and maybe a Yorghoul. That's kind of it. So we just traded AD carry for support, which was not a good deal. But I can go ahead and do a number on Triss to try to balance it a bit more. Sadly, I couldn't dodge the Dark Binding, but this is more justification for my eventual Merc Treads. So Moore goes down, and even though she was feeding in the first place, it's still EXP as far as I know. The gold may go down as they die, but the EXP should remain fixed. And one thing that I can point out is now that we're hitting the 20-minute mark, you may notice I still don't have my Sated Devourer. But on the other hand, I've actually done what I could to make as big of an impact on this game as possible. So while I'm not directly impacting it through my DPS, we've still gotten Vayne at least one kill. We got Ahri that quad. We got the bottom lane tower. We, like, you can't necessarily judge the game by your stats. And one thing that I think most Sated Devourers mess up on is they will sit there and farm for way too long, sacrificing any chance to have an impact on the game. And by the time they actually get their Devourer, they may have lost towers, kills, objectives, and yeah, you got an item, but you're so far down you still may not be able to salvage the game. So one thing I can point out real quick is Black Shield actually only blocks magic damage. That's my Devourer. Everything else of mine still hits more full force. As for poor Yorick Mori, I had a tunnel constructed in advance that got me the hell out. And the charm is just insult to injury. That slows him a little bit more. We even set the wolves on him. And unfortunately, for one reason or another, Vayne rushed in. Had Vayne just pulled off like we did, we made a clean getaway. And I think, unfortunately, we will re-engage here, which is going to get some of us killed. Ah, there's Vayne. There's the Vi ult, like I said.
Enemy double kill.
And I think Ahri is out of mana here. But that was a pretty big gold swing for Vi, getting the 3 kills and the assist. Sadly, that does kind of catapult her ahead of me, since, if you remember, she sank a lot of time into the dragon early on, which gave me the advantage for a while. Just all-around sloppy play. So, one thing I can point out is you may know I'm going to suicide to try to get the dragon here. That stupid buster shot. Oh no, it was the Morgul that stopped me from dropping Smite. That one actually hurts us really bad because now they have the movement speed to actually offset Vayne's passive. And if we let them have the 4th dragon, that's pretty much it. We're not going to have the wave clear to resist. The Morg push will be even worse than it currently is. So, at this point I try to tell the team if we let them have Dragon 4, it's game over. We just won't be able to push out anywhere. Triss will have her range advantage too. Yorick's ghouls, those won't really matter too much. It's just the 2 scary ones will actually be able to clear the waves faster than we can push them in. Sadly, in the event that they actually did get the 4th dragon, I probably would be forced to go for the Zerat portal here. So right there, they put up that little argument. The thing is, early on, the towers are nice because they do give you gold, so you can in turn get items, make you stronger, compared to how you don't actually have a lot of items to use the early dragon buffs. But the thing is, at this point, we should be having items. The Ahri has the Morellos, and I don't know if she has her death cap just yet. Vayne has her Blade of the Ruined King. She'll have her crit item. It could be the Shiv, the Phantom Dancer. It's really up to her. As for right here, I can go ahead and clear this rather quickly since I have the Hydra and my AoE on the Q. I can kind of deal with Yorick's split push, but Shen is much better suited to it. Speaking of Shen, I actually probably could have gotten the third dragon if he had ulted me.
Your turret's been destroyed.
So right here, they are taking one tower. I'm moving in position to help the Ahri. Since Yorick is here, that should be the green light for Shen to go ahead and split push. He's going really heavy in armor, which kind of works because Nidalee isn't going to matter until late. Morg feeding, Yorick does mixed damage, and he's kind of a tank anyway. That kind of just leaves Vi and Trist, both of which are primarily physical damage. And the good news is, since Ahri is doing so well, giving her that blue buff just pays dividends. And right there, you got to see Shen warp out at the last second. So they sent Yorick and Nidalee there to kind of commit to that, and it doesn't pay off. They do get Shen's teleport, but he teleported to the bottom inner, so it's a reduced cooldown. And one question I can address real quick, some people tend to ask, well, why don't I use Smite more often? The thing is, if I don't have the Ranger's Trailblazer, I tend to hold on to my Smites for fights. At this phase of the game, the fights do go long enough. The fights do go long enough for me to actually get both charges of Smite off. So having two definitely comes in handy. You can usually smite the AD carry or some other high priority target. Or I can even smite Vi as she dives in to limit her mobility. She is a lot more mobile than normal because she has the Trinity Force for the plus 8% plus her boots.
Too good an end for him.
Poor Morg, this just is not her game. So right there I smited Vi. Yorick is warping in, I decided to turn around to prep for him. And you can see I pick off Trist, and I honestly don't know why Yorick went on me. I'm just as tanky as Shen. Like, we should be the two lowest priority targets. Even Lulu should be higher priority than us because of her shields and her heals. Well, her heal. It's just the ult.
Turret destroyed.
As for right here, I was kind of hoping Vi would go in. She didn't. No fun, I know. And I don't know why Shen is tanking that. Like, they can clear the minions anyway, so you may as well have the tower clear that, and you can save some health. But as a result, he has to go back now. But if you were paying attention in that last fight, I can point out one of the key differences between our teams.
Dominated.
Sadly, her Q is on a 4-second cooldown, so she can't use it to escape. But when Trist jumped in, like, no one tried to help her. Nidalee is support in name only. She would much rather be AP, and the team's going to suffer as a result, like I said earlier. While I'm going to do what I can to try to protect Vayne. And as a result, Vayne's going to be able to get her damage off, while Trist is kind of going to die. Right there, they got the Scuttle Crab, but it doesn't really matter. I have my Sated Devourer anyway, and we are going to have a bit of a skirmish right here. So you can see they landed their stuff on me, and it doesn't
Turret's
matter.
in splinters. You're out a turret.
Dragon does percent HP damage, and you can see that my health didn't really change for that whole thing. And if you look, I'm even kind of topped off right now. So the first dragon gives us the percent HP thing, or not HP, APAD. In turn, that enhances my Q, the unburrowed form. I was kind of hoping I could burn her flash. I wasn't sure if it was up, but Vi is pretty much the only one who can actually hurt me here. And that's just because she has armor penetration built into her W. The Morg, not scary, Nidalee, not scary, and you can see my poke a bit. Would have been nice had those hit. We could have maybe 3-shot her. But I still get some consolation with that, and York is tad out of position. So, Smite, knockout. And that black shield doesn't stop me. Sadly, for some reason, Ahri decided to walk back in, and she has to pay the price as a result. I can kite the York Death Ghoul a little bit better once I finally get my Omen. It's just I have to wait till then. So right here, Vi went in. We need to get in the way to stop her from queuing over the wall, but we fail. Still, she is in really bad shape, and we can chase here. So I'm still harassing with my Prey Seeker. Don't underestimate the damage, especially when Vi is so wounded. Vi goes down, and I have to get out the Morgold.
Your mate's feet in the
So trading jungle for support would actually be a really good trade, especially seeing how fed Vi is. Continuing the fight past this point is actually a mistake. I can still poke with my Prey Seeker. We're going to lose Vayne here due to the Ignite, but we still pick off Morg. It's just Morg, as far behind as she is, definitely not worth Vayne, especially since Vayne had that bounty on her. And it's true, I don't think Vayne ever lands a successful condemn here. She might have gotten Vi, but Vi was pretty much dead to rights. So I got the final rank in my ult. That in turn gives me even more attack speed, which is why I can clear this so quickly. And the attack speed itself synergizes really well with the lifesteal built into the Hydra. Ahri was kind of screwed there, in case you were wondering. Had she not Zhonya's, the explosive charge would have killed her. Since she did Zhonya's, it just gave it to Vi instead, which I'd say was probably worse. But it still slows down Trist. It's not exactly too bad. And we are now approaching the end of the game, so there's going to be one final fight coming up in the next couple minutes.
Your turret's been destroyed.
Now, I don't know why Nidalee jumped forward like that, but I deal physical damage, and I'm going to kill her with Prey Seeker in a second. I wanted to hit her, it's just I have to go for the range one. The Prey Seeker has a fairly narrow hitbox, probably narrower than the Javelin, ironically, and I didn't want to rely on that, but luckily she came to a bottleneck and it was a lot easier to land it as a result.
Fine meal for the shark.
As for here, I want to try to stop York from taking the tower, so I just try to contribute my DPS, but it looks like he timed out anyway, not entirely sure. Blue buff is gone. I don't think Ahri really needs it, but it's still nice to give to her so that her mana will be filling up even right now. I don't remember what the percentage mana regen the blue buff gives, But with the Morello's doubling effect, it should be something significant. But I have enough gold now to finish the Omen, and that's going to be my final item for the game. The important thing here is now I can... well, I just have to get underneath them to unburrow. It doesn't matter if I do that through the use of building a tunnel, through flash, whatever. But once I knock them up, I can then pop the Randuin's Omen to slow them even more. And if you look at my numbers, I'm sitting on about 200 armor, 150 MR, approximately. So when you add those together, you get 350. That in turn becomes a 3.5 second slow for my Omen. Very devastating for teams who have a little bit of trouble positioning. And Vayne kind of upstaged me there. I did all those hits to wear it down, then she walks up and one-shots it. Right here is why I don't really like trusting the Prey Seeker, as you saw. And this is a beauty. I don't know why Nidalee went in on that. I took out about 2/3 of her health just like that. And for the way I position here, I end up drawing the Vial, since she was probably aiming for Vayne. But like I said, protect your carry. The Vayne is freaking nightmarish if given the opportunity. And what I was saying earlier on, Yorick only has a contribution if he gets here in time. We killed both Morg and Vi before he could arrive. I don't know if he canceled the teleport himself or something happened. It's just... he was too late. I don't know if he had a ward sooner that he could have used, but just too little too late, we win the fight. As for right here, I give Nidalee a poke just to wear her down a bit, as well as pick up an assist should Ahri kill her. Warding the gate here so we can see if they're trying to flank us. Warding the other side so that we can see them preparing. It also gives a bit of a heads up on any skill shots coming our way, such as a Dark Binding or a Javelin. The Dark Binding being scarier just due to CC purposes. Like so. So I ended up killing Yorick. Right here I'm going to use the Omen to slow him down so that he can't get on our carries. And right here is an awkward spot. I have to choose which carry to protect, Vayne or Ahri, because they're going opposite directions. Ultimately, I go like I'm just stuck in the middle as they split. But in the meantime, I'm homing in on Trist. I'm going to force her Buster Shot, and well, we'll see. Since she stood still, I didn't actually get the skill shot on her. I pinged because I want someone to try to pincer her, but that little delay it takes for her to move after Rocket Jump is more than enough for me to get my hits off. And so that's the end of the game. Rek'Sai jungle for you guys with the Devourer. If I have anything else to say, I'll post that in the description, but otherwise that's it for now.